You know what time it is. It is NFL Week 14 recap. Let's go. First up, we have the Lions defeating the Packers on Thursday Night Football 34-31. What a intense game this was. It was back and forth the entire game, and it really came down to the ending, where the Lions were fourth and short, and they went for it, which was the right call in my opinion, and they got it, and they kicked the game-winning field goal as time expires to win and clinch a playoff spot. Good for the Lions, honestly. And also shout out to Josh Jacobs, who had 18 carries for 66 yards and 3 TDs. Next up, we have the Steelers beating the Browns 27-14. We all knew the Steelers were going to win. And the biggest moment was when the Steelers punt the ball to Cleveland to hopefully give them a chance, but Kadarius Toney just had to fumble the ball and was recovered by the Steelers. And after that, they released him. And yeah, that's all I can say from this game. So congrats Steelers, and Cleveland, your season is officially over. Next up, we have the Saints beating the Giants 14-11. What a really boring game this was. And if you check the scoring summary, each team scored once per quarter. Just look at this. Saints, touchdown run, first quarter. Giants field goal, second quarter. Saints touchdown, third quarter. Giants touchdown, fourth quarter. Like, this game was boring. Nothing really stood out, except for the block kick. But what's most noticeable about this game was the Giants supposedly hiring a OnlyFans model to distract the Saints. And, well, that didn't work. So, better luck next time, Giants. Next up, we have the Dolphins beating the Jets 32-26 in overtime. This was a back and forth contest, and it went into overtime, where the game was truly over when Jonnu Smith scored a 10-yard pass from Tua to win the game. And I'm going to give the Jets some credit offensively for putting up a really good fight and forcing this game into overtime, but their season's done, so yeah. But congrats, Miami, on getting the win and keeping their playoff hopes alive. Next up, we have the Jaguars beating the Titans 10-6. If you thought the Saints and Giants game was terrible, wait until you see Jaguars-Titans. It was as bad. Because Mac Jones was terrible, throwing 2 interceptions, and Banana Mayo Coffee Boy literally didn't do anything. And yeah, there wasn't really anything that stood out. I guess I would probably say Tank Bigsby, if I'm pronouncing his last name right, who scored on an 8-yard run to pretty much give the Jaguars the win. So yeah, congrats Jaguars, I guess. Next up, we had the Vikings beating the Falcons 42-21. Falcons, you guys are legit falling apart right now. Cousins lost to his former team, and the Vikings let Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson demolish you guys. I mean, that's just unbelievable that the Falcons, who were at one point 6-4, and now they're 6-7. Falcons, honestly, all you can do is just pray that Penix is going to be your quarterback soon. That's all I can say. As for the Vikings, Addison and Jefferson did amazing, and so did Sam Darnold. 347 yards and 5 touchdowns. Really, really impressive. Next up, we have the Eagles beating the Panthers 22-16. Honestly, you gotta give Bryce Young credit. Honestly, he had more passing yards than Jalen Hurts did, and he did all he could. And he would have won the game if his open receiver didn't drop on would have been a game-winning touchdown, but hey, life is unfair. And the Eagles pretty much did all they could by like the tush push and Devontae Smith getting a touchdown and someone named Grant Salatra. If I'm pronouncing that right, I swear I'm not trying to be offensive. But still, the Panthers put up a good fight and they couldn't pull out with a win. As for the Eagles, they are comfortably at 11-2 and are at a 7-game winning streak. So good for them. Next up, we have the Buccaneers beating the Raiders 28-13. Honestly, who would have seen this coming? But the Buccaneers, they played really well in this game. They jumped out to a really good lead and they kept it. Well, yeah, they did. I thought it was a tie game, but yeah, the Buccaneers, after this win, are now currently in first place in the NFC South, and I couldn't be much happier. As for the Raiders, they're in shambles right now, and Aiden O'Connell got hurt, and now you guys are relying on Desmond Ridder. So yeah, good luck with that. Next up, we have the Seahawks beating the Cardinals 30-18. I'm going to be real with you, I didn't watch a single moment from this game. But there is one player who had a really good game, and that is Zach Charbonnet, who had 22 carries for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the Seahawks jumped out to a really good 17-7 lead in the first quarter, and they pretty much kept it. And the biggest highlight of this game was when Zach ran for 51 yards to the house to go up 24-10 in the second quarter. And the Seahawks pretty much kept their lead, despite not doing as much in the second half. And the Seahawks are somehow first place in a really banged up NFC West. So congrats, Seattle. And Arizona, please, for the love of God, please use Marvin Harrison Jr. more. Please. Next up, we have the 49ers beating the Bears 38-13. The 49ers are back. But it has been an ugly season, but they're still alive, though. They still have a chance. And also, Brock Purdy had a really good game. 20 for 25, 325 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Caleb Williams, he did all he could by having 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. But it wasn't enough to take down the Niners. And also, Isaac had 15 carries for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the biggest play of this game was not many big plays in this game. But I guess I would say Juwan Jennings' 16-yard touchdown to give San Francisco a 21-0 lead. So yeah, congrats San Francisco, and Chicago, your season's pretty much over. Next up, we have the Rams upsetting the Bills 44-42. One of the best games of the year, without a doubt. And Josh Allen, he had one of his best games ever by a quarterback who had 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. And he is the second person to do it behind only Cam Newton, I think. But the Bills tried to do everything that they could, but the Rams just keep having an answer after the Bills score. But the biggest moment in this game is Khalil Shakir's 51-yard bomb from Josh Allen to make it 31-21 in the third. And also, Puka Nacua had a really nice game. 12 receptions for 162 yards and a touchdown, and his toe tap catch that is probably one of his most impressive catches in his young career. And also, Kyren Williams had 29 carries for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. And yeah, that's all I can say from this game. So, a really good game for both of these teams, and yeah, that's all I can say. So, Next up, we have the Chiefs beating the Chargers 19-17. Once again, the Chiefs and Mahomes played mediocre for the majority of the game just to actually try with their dark magic to win on a doinked field goal that apparently went in. I just have a feeling that these guys are going to three-peat and their fans are going to be more obnoxious. I just know it. And the world will be a terrible place. We obviously knew the Chiefs were going to win with a ton of BS going their way. But if you can clearly tell, the Chiefs literally didn't do anything offensively for scoring-wise outside of the DeAndre Hopkins touchdown. They literally didn't even do anything. Because Matthew Wright did all the heavy lifting, including the game-winning field goal. I just cannot believe it. I just really can't believe it. But well, let's cut to the chase right now. The Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl, and they're going to win by like some freak occurrence going their way, because that's how it's going to go. God, I hate these guys. I really do hate them. I hate them. And finally, we have the Bengals beating the Cowboys on Monday Night Football 27-20. Finally, we got a win. But the real question in this game was, wouldn't have we lost this game if not for that block punt that fell into our hands? Maybe, but I'm still happy that we finally got a win and preventing a 9th loss. But the most notable moments in this game was when Cade York, who had a really nice game, won against his girlfriend's team that she is rooting for, who happens to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. See? I'm not lying. It's the truth. And also, shout out to Jamar Chase for once again having an amazing game. 14 receptions, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns. One of which was the game-winning touchdown. And this game was just absolutely wild. There was like a lot of memorable moments in this game. And I couldn't even expect a better game than this. And also, Micah Parsons was acting like an absolute baby at the end of the game, and he stormed off when everybody was shaking each other's hands. Look, I know that you were playing your heart out there, Parsons, but don't act like a baby about it. Come on, you're on TV. And a huge shout out to Jamar Chase for making this 6-year-old who was diagnosed with leukemia, Braxton Woods, who wanted to see Jamar Chase score a touchdown in the game against the Cowboys, and he did what he did in that game, score a touchdown for that kid. And it's just so amazing how you can make a kid's dream come true. But once again, a huge win for the Bengals, and Braxton, that win was for you, buddy.